stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference.
Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of the All Around Growth podcast. My name is Rob Kaiser, and I am your host. Today is Tuesday, October 4th, 2022, and this is episode number... Boy, what episode is this? This is episode number 435 of a show where we co-create life together, a show where we apparently get confused as well, a show where you join me with my family on our small farm and homestead as we grow all around, where we oftentimes talk about the 5 W's and how, as I grow along with the family business here at York Meadow Farm. All right. And today we are going to do a newsletter recap covering the York Meadow Farm newsletter, the monthly newsletter that we send out to our subscribers. This is a work in process and will probably be delivered tomorrow. Initially, I wanted to wait until after the Tremont Farmers Market tonight so I can see if I can obtain any additional email subscribers and make sure that they get on this list to receive the newsletter as well. If you are interested in receiving the newsletter to see the final result of what I'm about to share with you, or in some way, shape, or form, because like I said, it's not done, but we're going to get a sneak peek into what we're going to cover. You can go to yorkmeadowfarm.com and just click subscribe to our newsletter. You'll see it up in the menu or as you scroll down through the page. Now today in the October newsletter, or this week in the October newsletter, what we are going to cover is content creation, repurposing, new neighbors, real food, and more. It's been a wild month. September was incredible. There was a lot going on, and as things progress, we continue to get busier in the best ways possible. Now, when I assemble these newsletters, what I do to procure the content for them is, first and foremost, I scroll through Telegram, because we have a channel on Telegram, t.me/allaroundgrowth, and because my family and I are heavy Telegram users, I make a point to continually post things there, share them to the family chat, share them wherever, and in doing so, this is my baseline for content that goes into the newsletter. In addition, there are also posts on social media, Facebook, Instagram, things that may be taken from either here on the Farmer Homestead, but mostly from the market. And after going through the Telegram chat, I will take a look at Facebook and social media in general, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter but most of the stuff that's on Twitter is already on one of the former platforms. So in addition to all of that, we've got a little corner from Cody, and where he shares some photos and a little bit of writing. So what do we have in store for? Well, before we get into the whole content creation and repurposing, the beginning of the month started off with us being highlighted by the Medina Farmers Market with a quote that reads, "One of the best things about a farmer's market is talking to the makers, growers of these products. They all have such amazing personal stories of why they bring these products to share with us. Yesterday, I learned so much about gut health from York Meadow Farm and Bucha Bill Kombucha. They live by and believe in what they do and love to share the countless hours of information they have researched. Come check it out this coming Saturday, September 1st. And that was, technically that was from late August, but I included it in the September update because I actually posted it on September 1st, but that was when I saw it. Now, September, we had, everyone here knows about the online store. I will, of course, link to it in the show notes as well. I've been talking about that a lot. I'm not going to go in great detail about that because we've discussed that at great length. But that happened. Orders have been coming through. We've experienced some challenges with orders, and we're learning how to navigate the world of market sales in addition to online sales and the management of the inventory and all of those things. Now, as far as content creation goes, what we're going to talk about and link to in the newsletter is my interview with Eric Johnson from the podcast Talent Coach and the work that I did with him. I won't go into that, but there's a fun clip that I've got, and I'm going to talk about the increased effort to create content that is related to and directed towards the farm. And that is going to include what we've been doing with YouTube videos, trying to improve our social media presence on Instagram by making reels and things like that. And ultimately, the steps that we are taking to not necessarily rebrand, but reconfigure the manner in which we represent ourselves online, specifically through the website, and that is through a transition of platforms. So we're going to hint at all of that in the newsletter, and that is what we're talking about with content creation. When it comes to repurposing, the repurposing is the high tunnel that I was able to get from somebody who I've been helping out with some side work, and he needed this thing gone. They used to overwinter plants in there back when they did more landscaping and more plant installs, but as time went on and their own business model changed, they decided to not overwinter plants with the frequency or at least volume that they did. So they've got this high tunnel that really just isn't being used, and they need the space for more equipment, more plows and things like that. So he called me and said, hey, do you want to get this thing out of here? Like, I need the space and maybe you need the tunnel, and you can do me a favor and, you know, you can have a free tunnel. So Cody and I went over there, checked it out, looked to be in good shape, looked like all the parts and pieces were there. So we went over there and disassembled it on, well, I guess it was maybe the 7th of September, and we will be reassembling that at some point, and I may be involved with that. I'm not sure. Cody may just do that with Dave, or I don't know how that's going to go, but yeah, we are very grateful to have the opportunity to stumble across material that basically is trash for someone else, and we can repurpose that and turn it into something of value that's going to provide for us and our families, and that is awesome. Now, as far as the new neighbors are concerned, this is kind of wild. Let's see, when did that take place? On September 15th, whatever day that was. Let's see, what day was September 15th? September 15th was a Thursday, and I found myself leaving the homestead for the first time since Monday, which was very nice. I like the fact that I can hunker down here, do what I need to do, and limit the time the times that I need to leave the homestead. This morning is one of those times, this afternoon is one of those times, but not near as frequently as I used to. And over the course of those few days, the neighboring parcel has been split 3 ways. It was a 30-some acre parcel, and I'm talking about the parcel that is immediately west of us. For years it had been conventionally farmed. The front 20 or so acres were just conventionally farmed, you know, wheat, beans, grain, corn, whatever. And it recently sold. 2 parcels up front, 7.75 acres, and the back remaining parcel, which is, you know, something around 15 or 20 acres with a 40-foot access road. Well, there's no road there, but an access strip. So we'll see what happens with the woods next door. But 2 parcels down, I guess 3 technically, we noticed this barn being built, wasn't sure what was happening. And then I would say a week or 2 ago, I was in the kitchen and working, and I hear Toby barking and barking and barking, and you know, it's a different bark than if Cody had walked up or was, you know, on the skateboard or something like that. And so I poked my head out and I saw someone, you know, kind of half down the stairwell in the cabin, which kind of alerted me. And so I went out, and luckily it appeared to be a friendly interaction with Mom, and it was the new neighbor. He had bought the parcel next door, and he kind of came back to introduce himself and ask us if he could use our driveway to access that property and sort of get it cut down and start maintaining it and get it ready for the driveway that he would install. And we were talking about where he's thinking about putting the house and things like that. And in the process for letting him use the driveway, he actually brought in some gravel and did a little bit of a repair down at the end of our driveway. I was able to catch up with him after the market on Sunday with Dad just a couple days ago, and maybe that was Saturday, I don't remember. We've been running all over. Yeah, it was Saturday, and was able to say, "Hey, Teddy, thanks," you know, and he said, "Hey, yeah, I've got a skid steer, you know, if you ever need to do any work or anything back there." And he just is a really friendly guy, and he also bought the property from the individual right next door who built the barn. So I guess he bought both lots and is a small business owner up in Valley City who will also be building a house there. And he wanted to be a little bit selective about the neighbor that went in there. And that neighbor was Teddy, who came back and introduced himself to Mom and myself. And quite frankly, I'm looking forward to getting to know him better. Seems like a good guy, real friendly, real helpful, willing and wanting to help. So as soon as they get settled in back there, I think I'm just going to invite him over for a beer, bonfire, and get to know him a little better. So here's to new neighbors and the continued effort towards building and developing community, because at the end of the day, that's really what we need. And so we've got content creation, repurposing, new neighbors, real food, and the real food is more of an homage or tribute, if you will, to Cody, who harvested his first deer just a couple of days ago. And what Cody does, like I said, is sends pictures and has a little bit of writing to share with us. So what we are going to see in Cody's Corner this month, and I'll go ahead and share these pictures in the Telegram group with you guys so you can see what I'm talking about, because the pictures that Cody takes are stunning. He's out there at all hours of the day and frequently captures wonderful pictures of the sunrise, sunset, and the food that he prepares. And what we've got is a picture of a sunrise overlooking the fields. We've got dinner, which looks like a deer heart, a pawpaw, and some other cut of the deer. The deer itself, I actually talked to him about this, and he got a nice double lung shot, and just a very quick, clean shot, and just wonderful. And finally, one other picture of the high tunnel, all cleaned up, beds transitioned, with the sun peeking through at the eastern end. And this is one of the most beautiful pictures I've seen. I think that this is just such a great representation of the work that he's done. And it shows, well done, Cody. So guys, if you're out there and you aren't in the Telegram group, get in the Telegram group. You can find it t.me/allaroundgrowth. And I would simply encourage you to do that. You'll get a sneak peek of Cody's Corner. You'll get you'll get some insight into what everyone else is doing, because this isn't just a group about the show. I wish I could engage more, but there's life, and luckily there's an awesome community of people who are actively engaging in awesome things of their own and sharing it there. And if you want to do the same, then join us over in the Telegram group, t.me/allaroundgrowth. And as I scroll through this Telegram channel here from York Meadow Farm, what's worth pointing out is we've reached maximum production in fermentation. We've got well over 30 5-gallon buckets. We're pushing a half a ton of vegetables actively fermenting. I took a nice photo and shared it of the outdoor beds that Cody's managing that are being transitioned, succession planting at its finest. I'll share some of those photos as well in the group. And that's about it. We are approaching something resembling the first frost. I don't know. We're getting there. But yeah, guys, new markets, content creation, repurposing, new neighbors, real food. We've even made some updates to the shipping terms in the online store based on feedback from customers and friends and family. That may change again, but again, we're discussing all of this in the Telegram group, so check that out. And guys, I will link to the show notes as well, or I will link to a lot of what we discussed in the show notes, and I would encourage you to check out the show notes, because there's links to not only the Telegram group, but the rest of social media, Facebook, MeWe, Twitter. Communities are all active there. We are also on Float, less so of a community, but I do make a point to post, so you can follow the show there if you are on Float. And also, there's a link to how to leave a rating and review in the Apple Podcast app. And as of October 22nd, this still matters. Even though the podcast game is changing, I would really encourage you to leave a rating and review through the Apple Podcast app if you are an Apple user. I understand that we all use different podcast players, including Fountain, but many of the podcasts that you listen to through Fountain come from and are generated through Apple Podcasts, right? That is a primary feed for many of the podcast players out there. So do your podcast hosts a favor, leave a rating and review on the Apple Podcast app, because it still does affect the algorithm and it helps expose the shows that you like to new listeners. So if you want to help them out, this is a great way to do that, not just for me, but for anyone that you like and support. There's a link in the show notes on how to do exactly that. And if you have a question or any feedback for me, you are always welcome to email me at allaroundgrowth@gmail.com, or simply reach out in Telegram or any of the other social medias. Links for everything will be there. And guys, that is it for today. I look forward to catching you tomorrow, where we will be discussing the market recap from the Tremont Farmers Market tonight. So that's it for today's show, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Again, I look forward to catching you tomorrow. I hope you have a great day today. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.
In a world of pain, what can I do? The needs are many and answers a few. People turn away and I wonder why. If I can help somebody, then I want to try. People may think that it's odd that I believe in friendship and love, and truth is always the best way to the world that may seem odd. I'm an odd fellow. I'm an odd fellow. I'm an odd fellow. If we stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference and answer the call. You know the times are wasting every day, and we can help somebody along the way. People may think that it's odd that I believe